Okay, welcome everyone at 6:02. I'd like to call this meeting to order. I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And a moment of silence, please, as we think about those who've gone before us. Thank you. All right, roll call, please.
Okay, Trustee Lewis?
Here.
Trustee Hine?
Here.
Trustee Bushner?
Here.
Mayor Allen?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Ryan?
Here.
Trustee Patton?
Here.
Trustee O'Malley? And Attorney Gilchrist. All present.
All right, a few announcements. This past Saturday we had the first annual Christmas tree lighting. It was a huge success. We had well over 100 people at the park and probably near 100 people at Unihog afterwards for the refreshments. I know Marianne Zuckelbauer had taken on the lead on that, and I know that Jason Von Guinness and Sarah did a whole bunch of work at Unihog, and I know there were a slew of other people who were involved. The community band had some brass there. I got to play along with them. Hoosick Falls Central School, Mrs. Yudkoff, Dr. Yudkoff, the chorus teacher, brought some of her students as well to sing along. Hoosick School had a couple of students there, and it was just a really, really nice event. And literally within 5 minutes before we were going to start, it just started snowing, and it was just awesome. So I wanted to thank all of those individuals, and I'm sure there's many other individuals who were involved in that. For that, it was a great event. It's another nice event that's starting and becoming an annual tradition in this village, which I just love.
Yeah, thanks to Santa, of course, and
Santa, of course.
JC's tractor, who
Yes.
did an awesome job with the sled.
And if you didn't see the
I
picture
saw a
of that,
video of
it's
that.
it's fantastic.
It's still sitting down there too.
Is it?
It's sitting
That's
in
great.
their parking lot.
Yeah, it was just a great event, and I was really glad for all the people who came up with the idea and put it together. I know you were probably involved in a bunch of that because you're always involved in things with events. So thank you guys. So great event. We also received a thank you note from the family of Ann Bornt. I just want to pass it around. Thank you for the beautiful flower arrangements and all your thoughts and prayers. So I just want to pass it around as we go through. I have a few updates. Board, feel free to interrupt me if you have any questions about things. First one, in terms of the Woodsbrook buyout program. As it says here, appraiser and survey services have been awarded. Consultants will be reaching out to participating homeowners. In fact, I think I've already heard of a couple who've actually had a couple consulting services completed already. So that's going through. The environmental site assessment services will be awarded shortly. That's the third of the 3 consultant services, which will give us the information we need. Anticipating that all consultant services will be completed by late January, we'll be scheduling meetings thereafter to sit down with them. In terms of the Woodsbrook CDBG grant with the town of Hoosick, the MOU, which is in the agenda tonight, the town signed off on that yesterday, so it's basically stating, and we'll go over it when we get there, that we're the lead agency, but we're still going to work together and make decisions together, and so on and so forth. So that's on the agenda for tonight. Snow Street grant. We are continuing to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth with DASNY, just to make sure that they have all the documents they need to have all their ducks in a row. But the end goal is still going to be using the remaining funds from the Snow Street grant to purchase the new pump station. This is the same pump station that went down yesterday, and that affects people on the very top of the hill, Oak, a couple on Fairbanks, Carr, and then the few on Rensselaer, Congress, a little bit on Snow Street, Ball Street area. But that area has been plagued for a while with problems. The Snow Street project will be a huge help for some parts, but until that pump station is replaced, we're still hanging on by a thread.
Do we have a time frame for that, or?
Assuming DASNY gives us the go-ahead, and we have something on the agenda tonight to basically say, assuming DASNY gives us the go-ahead, we're going to do it. But we need to wait for final approval for DASNY. Once they give us the approval, It's about 3 months to get the item in, and probably another couple weeks to install it, give or take. I'm adding in just in case. All right, but ideally, if we get it, even if we get it in the next week or so, the approval, then we're looking 3.5 months, and it's up and ready.
Although Jim, I talked to Jim this morning, he did say the pressure was at 76, which
Mhm.
is higher than it usually is up there, which is good.
It was all good. It was
we
all
also-
good this morning.
Yeah, for you have water.
Yeah.
He also, I had mentioned to him, because two of the neighbors near the tank had mentioned there were really disturbingly loud noises in brown water prior to the failing, and they were like, who do you call? So we talked about putting a sign out there with an emergency number.
Yep.
So if neighbors can report a problem, it's there. And also, he also said to remind us that we don't have to pay for it till it arrives. So we can order it, and when it arrives, be able to pay for it.
Yep. There you go.
Is that our plan B?
What's that?
Say Dasney says no. I mean, they haven't said yes yet, so what if they say no?
The last communication email I had today was basically getting one last thing figured out, which is I think it was Seeker, getting documents for Seeker or questions about Seeker. But we've gotten them everything else. We have had the documentation from the beginning all the way back to the waterline expansion project, which was a multi-phase thing, which included this work. So we don't anticipate any reason for needing a plan B because everything is there and all the I's have been dotted, T's have been crossed for so long. We're just giving them the documentation so that they can comfortably say, yeah, we're full speed ahead on this.
Okay.
If not, then we have a conversation on do we take the costs on ourselves. The cost of it is going to be around $35,000 to $40,000 with the remaining funds from the Dasney grant, and at about $60,000 from the current water budget. Which, as I discovered, there's a lot of budgeted money each year for maintenance for that exact location. So, to
And
me,
also to
kind of a
note,
no-brainer.
just in terms of cost too, and so people, you guys are aware too, that, they don't leave until the pressure there is not only where it should be, but remains there. So that's a very late night for them.
Yeah,
In a
last
very
night.
loud shack.
Oh my gosh, I
When
had
the-
no
Yeah,
idea.
you've been, the compressor kicks in, you can't hear anything.
Yeah, I got to go up there
Room
last
about the
night
size
for a
of this
while.
table.
Along those lines, though, Jim mentioned to me, and it was kind of after the fact by the time I talked to him, but if at 4 o'clock when everybody came home, if they knew there was a problem and didn't start a load of laundry and didn't run their dishwasher and do all those things when we were having a problem, it would help greatly to allow them to continue to build pressure. So maybe next time this happens, we should consider maybe a Facebook page, putting out a message for
Yep.
those users that can make a difference, so they know,
Yeah.
hey, if you may have water, but if you choose to conserve it, then the people slightly up above you on the hill may not have air.
The last time we had a major problem up there, not before this one, I think the police officers delivered letters up to doors so people knew what was going on.
Maybe we should think about what we want to do.
We did it
for
on
next
Facebook
time.
as well, but I think you're right. Doing both of those would help.
Actually, having a pre-written letter, we can just run off a bunch of copies to put.
Yeah, there's a red light on the pump station that will go on when it gets below a certain PSI, and what they did, I think, is they educated the neighbors on it. So if they see the light on, just
Yeah.
call immediately because they
Except
can
when they
actually
need the
get
sign
it
to know
before.
what number to call.
Yes,
That was the key
yeah.
part we missed.
If this light's
Yeah.
on,
Little things.
call this number.
Yep.
Or if there's
And then we can mobilize very quickly and get word out. That's something that's right on. Yeah, it's that compressor kicks on every 5 minutes, and I was there for an hour and it was just mind shattering. But I think they spent from at least 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. yesterday working on that. So, all right. So that's where we are with the Snow Street and the pump station. The highway garage. Neil's been instrumental in getting a redesign work that will be small enough for the budget, but big enough to be an effective highway garage, if that makes sense. We are waiting to hear from Scott at MRB to see sort of what our next steps are, but I would assume that we will be putting it out for bid in the next meeting in January, which is great. In terms of the sewer project, we extended the bid period until December 18th. And there's a couple last minute requests for additional permitting with DEC and the Army Corps of Engineers that we have to fulfill and get back to them as soon as humanly possible, just to make sure that goes on, but we're still going through. We had tried to get the bid period to fall before this meeting so we could approve it, but with the request for the permits and the thought that there's no shame in a couple extra weeks, so that means it gives more people time to put things together, we decided let's put off a little bit. So looking in January to move on that. Possibly if we need a special meeting, but I don't think we're going to need it. I think we were content for January. Another thing we've been working on, the town of Hoosick rink grant. I've been working with a collection of people, including Pat Daly at the school, principal and future superintendent, Dean Foster, and a bunch of people at Hoosick School, Ken Lorenz, and a few others, to try to present to the town some ideas on the grant. We got to have a couple, I thought, good productive meetings with them. Last night at the town board meeting, which I was not able to attend, but a bunch of the group was, they only had 4 members there. One was just not able to be present. There was some more discussion. There was I submitted a letter that was read, I think, by Pat Daly, and the decision went to a vote. I think it was brought up by the town supervisor. So thank you, town supervisor. It was a 2-2 tie on whether to sort of go with this plan for future rink and redo the grant in a sense the way that we were hoping they would. A tie means it does not go through. So in a sense, it was kind of a no. It was a disappointment for a lot of us who've been working in the weeds and trying to come up with plans. I've had a lot of good conversations with Mark about it. So I don't think this is a no and the door shut, because I think we still may have some work to do. But I know that I was surprised at the amount of people who seeked me out and told me how surprised they were that it was a no vote, because it seemed like a good thing for the future. But that's sort of the latest update with that. And then we had a levy management update with FEMA, DEC, I think some Army Corps folks were supposed to be on the phone. I can't remember if they were. Town supervisor was there. Neil and I were there. It was quite a meeting. A lot of data, a lot of science, a lot of sciencey stuff. But basically, they're continuing to work on getting information updated on the levee and flood control walls.
Can you give me that update, because that ties in with the LWRP?
They're gonna send us. I'm waiting for them to send us a link to the PowerPoint and the details of some other files that they're gonna make available for us. They just haven't sent that yet.
Okay.
I do know, and Mark, feel free to add in on this. It sounds like when this is complete, a year or two down the road, there could be some implications on flood insurance and how these areas are defined in terms of flood insurance.
My interpretation is that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yes, in the process, we're gonna be determining the strength of the levee, and the flood wall. And there's two different issues going on there, but the village is gonna have to cough up some money to make the determination, which they suggest will be handled with grants and things like that. It sounds like it's a pretty good process, and it's for
That's a
the
good point.
next time the flood maps come out, which may not be for 5 or 6 years down the road.
Yeah.
But yes, I think it's a target, like if the levee were not to fail, it could change where a lot of the homes in the second ward maybe now don't need flood insurance, but may end up in the flood insurance category. So it's important
Yeah.
that, this is done, and I think it's just because of the weather, and they're doing this throughout the country with all the levees.
And in all honesty with that, it wasn't presented like, here's the thing. It was kind of like, we're all here doing this, and Mark all of a sudden just sort of connects the dots and says, wait a minute, does that mean this? And they're like, yeah, it kind of does. And we're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, this levee's been grandfathered in as what was the word? It's not acceptable.
See if I can find the notes on that.
But anyway, our levy right now passes because we're grandfathered in. So in essence, we're working toward being rejected and a lower classification, unless we can prove otherwise.
Yeah. I can't find the notes on it. I'll find it.
Well, it's been, what, 50, since it was 19 what? 52, 51?
It was the
President Truman
50s.
himself advocated for building
Yeah.
it in Hoosick Falls, so Truman was in office.
Yeah. So that was an interesting meeting. Right, Neil?
Yeah.
Best
Yeah,
best 2 hours of the week.
Quotes from him.
Board, any questions on any of this?
Mark, on the, I don't wanna put you on the spot, but on the rink grant, so it was a 2-2 tie, so did you table it, or did you just, was that the?
No, as, my understanding of the two tie, it really, it leaves a bitter, it's a kind of a bitter pill that it doesn't pass, and so it's almost like two of the votes don't really count. When you have a 2-2 tie, so it's, but I think that's the way that it's structured.
But
You can't vote?
He did vote.
No, I did.
Mark actually
There was
brought
a board
the
member
motion
missing.
and voted.
Yeah, Jen was out, Jen had surgery, so we knew she wasn't gonna be there.
There wasn't a quorum against it. There wasn't a quorum for it, but there wasn't a quorum against it.
Legal gray area.
Right, but nothing prohibits that from being brought up again at another meeting,
Exactly.
correct?
The problem that I have is that it's $925,000 that I gotta.
Budget.
Somewhat of a timeline on, I gotta get it done, I gotta
Right.
get the paperwork.
No, I
done,
get it.
Because that came from Marcion's office, and, you know, they're going to a minority, and she's leaving. And so I've been warned that there's a chance that we could lose that money could go away.
So it's a member item, but you need to make sure you get the money.
Need to make sure it's locked in.
No. Well, if you need help with that paperwork, just all right. People to be heard. Just get an idea of who would like to share. 1, 2. All right. We'll set a 4-minute limit, but that's kind of friendly. Please remember to state your name and address. Who would like to go first? Go for it.
Question. Number one first, I'd like to say, the trees through the town look absolutely beautiful.
They sure do. They are beautiful.
I think the best I've seen in years here, really. A lot of nice time was taken, and I've spoken to a lot of people on it, and they said, it really worked out very wonderful. They look beautiful.
They sure do.
Of course, my famous question is reverse 9-9.
I've signed off on it. We're getting it back to them. Then full speed ahead.
All right, because I just think of the situation you were just talked about with,
Mm-hmm.
up the hill, and how that section of people could be
Well,
notified.
It doesn't work that way, no. That wouldn't be an appropriate use for, because it's done geographically by municipality borders in certain areas, but there'd be people outside that zone. It doesn't do address by address, so just as a,
But they
that's,
said that when I was there with the meeting on it, they did mention about, that you could set up certain locations,
Correct.
blocks and things like that, and then something like that.
but that one is, because of the nature of that and the shorted, the addresses and where that part of the water system is, that would be too small of a block to set up. That's what that one's not gonna,
I just think
yeah.
it really is something, it's been really a long time here, I'm finding, because again, it's wonderful that there's Facebook, but not everybody in the area does
Right.
Facebook.
Yep. That's why we did the letters the last time we had the water issue up there.
Yeah, so I just think, overall, I think it'd be.
We're moving on it. Anything else? All right. Thank you.
Kevin Allard, 5421 State Route 7, Hoosick Falls, New York. I was at the meeting last night. I was disappointed at the vote, particularly since, and I gotta ask Bobby, can you ever remember both the village, both schools, and the town coming together on one project like this?
No.
No, so this is really unique, and I think this is really an opportunity for not just the village, but for the community to move forward. And it was kind of hard to see that happen.
Yeah. That was. I mean, you heard the letter. That was a lot of sentiment in my letter.
Yeah, and if there's any way you could convince the town supervisor to call a special meeting in which there's an entire board there.
I
don't know if I have his number. I don't know how to get to him.
Just to add on
Not put
to,
anybody on the spot.
to add on to what you're saying, Kevin, and just to say, I appreciate, Mark, your work you've done with that and bringing it to a vote and voting for it, but I also am deeply disappointed by the lack of vision and foresight by those who voted no. It says to kids in our community, we're not gonna invest in something new, and this is something both your schools have spoken up for, but we're just gonna tell you to pound salt. It's incredibly short-sighted, irresponsible, and it's not big picture thinking, so I'm sorry you had those 2 no votes on your board.
It's just, and as I.
Those are fighting words.
Well, it's, the village needs and the community in the area needs to reinvent itself. It's not going to be like it was. So
Correct.
you have to look at what do you wanna be.
It's short-sighted to not,
So
to make the decision, not make that decision.
The political way to say that is it. I think some
I
people.
didn't swear, so.
No,
I
no,
did
that was
pretty
good.
well.
That was good. I'm just practicing my politicalness here. Some people think I would say leadership is just sort of keeping taxes down, and other leadership looks to build a solid future on things, and that's what I think was our leading goal to get this to happen.
When you focus on keeping taxes down, you're not investing in things that are gonna help taxes stay down because there's more income coming in.
So, all right. Anything else? All right. Thank you. Reports. Treasurer Ben, do you want to talk through the report packet?
I do, Mayor.
Everything that Denise sent, I put in there. Do you have an extra report packet?
Then I won't tell you what she sent me in an email later in the day. That you had all that information and I didn't have to worry about it, but that's okay. A summary list of the past month and current projects. Trying to complete the state annual report as soon as possible. Compiling and invoicing water, sewer, solid waste invoices. Assisting with information needed from DASNY for approval, which we talked about about the pump station on Rensselaer Street. PFOA, 1-year ban of $196,331.94.
No, it's a ban. It's a budget action note.
So it should be all.
Bond anticipation.
But that's the one.
Oh, okay.
Bond anticipation note. So yes and no.
Never mind.
Sorry.
That's okay. Taken last December 19th will mature this year on the 19th. At that point, we'll be renewing the 1-year taxable ban with Pioneer Bank at an interest rate of 3.65%. At the time of renewal, there's no principal payment due, only interest. Principal payments will begin during the 1920 fiscal year. This is the financing that was approved by the New York State Legislature, allowing us a 10-year payback on this debt, or until settlement is reached and we can pay the debt at the end of the maturity of that year. As far as the flood, a 1-year tax exempt ban of $194,164.61 will be taken December 19th of this year with Pioneer Bank at an interest rate of 2.85%. Total expended on the July flood was approximately $315,000 and was later declared non-reimbursable by FEMA. The remainder of the funds that we will not be taking a ban for in the approximate amount of $120,835 would be a taxable ban which has a higher interest rate, and it was decided that with the PFOA financing still outstanding, the village does not want to burden the taxpayers by financing the additional $120,000. Principal payments will begin in the 2019-2020 fiscal year.
Just to add a little bit on that last sum of money, we basically just decided to, in a sense, eat the cost out of our own budget. So it wasn't like that was that all came out of the money we had budgeted aside. So that's why we're only pursuing the ban of the whatever the original one, 194,000. So sorry about it.
And there is no report reported.
Okay.
Why do we get an interest rate for the PFOA at 3.65 and for the flood at 2.85?
That may have to do with the timing of the year when we went for those.
Maybe, and there may be an issue there. One is taxable and one is tax exempt.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, because the taxable rate would have been higher on the flood stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Just
Good
curious.
question. Motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Motion.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Second.
Second, Brian. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Police report. I don't know if Chief is there. I know he's been busy with a couple different things tonight. So, Brian, you want to summarize this?
Why me?
I don't know.
I'm not police.
Do we have another radio voice here? Bobby, do
I
you
don't
want to do
have a
it?
radio
Ben,
voice, but I'll do
Ben's
it.
got it.
You go right ahead, Vanessa.
Yeah, I can read this. Total calls for November, 105. Total calls for October, 103 or 23. And the whole year we're at 1206. It looks like we went down a little bit this month from last month. Looks like most calls were EMS, couple traffic, property
Still low.
damage, drug investigation, all minor little things. And,
Except,
Petty larceny.
except for
well, I mean,
DWI.
the
Except for the next
amount,
ones.
sorry, the
Yeah.
amount compared to the amount of traffic in
Yeah.
EMS.
Yeah. Yes.
Those take all the calls.
And those
pretty
forces
much.
switch people.
Yeah.
And Code Blue has been put into effect, so if anybody is out there and needs help, they can come into the police department, and the police department is still collecting Toys for Tots at the station. If you don't see any in there, that doesn't mean nobody else has dropped them off. They come in and get safe at night.
Brilliant reading. We'll have to get a little bit more Chief Ash inflection in your voice, but that's
I
very,
think
very
you
good.
should give the report every month.
We won't tell him. We won't tell him you said that.
It moves right along and it's prettier.
Strike that from the minutes.
All right, looking for a motion to
Motion,
accept.
second.
Ben and Craig. Further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you. Code
Vanessa's gonna
enforcement.
do code enforcement as well.
Yeah. Mark.
I'm not gonna match that.
Come on, yes you can.
Couple of minor changes, just pretty much, same old, same old. I did manage to get the overall cases down a little bit for the month.
one's that?
Working on that, trying to get down to
Yeah.
a manageable number. Besides that, I increased, the, ones that are red tagged by a couple, and other vacant properties, I think it pretty much stayed the same for the last month. Unsafe structures, I haven't really added anything to that. That's about it, it's busy, it hasn't let up yet.
We have motions later regarding the demo bids for the unsafe buildings. But in terms of the one, it sounds like they have the date chosen out for the one, right?
They may have, I was gonna try and get to that, I do have a building permit application
Okay.
for Waldron Avenue, I did not get to that, I thought I would, but.
And I think when we get to that point, Mark or Andy, we'll simply table that bid because it sounds like they're going to be ready to go. So if in case for some reason something falls through, we can still move on in the future meeting.
Do we have a status on the, is it 56 mechanic or is that 58 mechanic? The house that we own now, that the bank turned over to us, we can't get anybody to demolish?
54.
No, it's not 54. That's my mother's old house. Sorry, it's not 54. Surprise!
You would know.
Remember that.
And no, nothing's been done with that since, that last person looked at it a few months ago.
Didn't we put it out to bid as well?
I think
demo?
we did. We
It came
put
back
out
at
for-
like
and it was
70 or something
70,000.
crazy.
And the bank gave us like, what, 35?
Or something,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the house.
Yeah, yeah.
And the house.
Thanks for nothing.
All right. Any other questions for Mark? Looking for a motion to approve the code enforcement report.
Motion.
Second.
Brian and Ben. Further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you. Community service report. Who wants to read this one? Come on, Craig. You know you want
It's
to.
short, I'll do that.
All right. There we go.
Yeah, they completed 85 hours of community service for November. Projects were including cleaning the offices, detailing the police cars, and picking up leaves throughout the village, including my house.
Really?
Several times.
Awesome.
How'd you swing that?
They were in the road,
Oh,
let's
okay.
be clear.
All right. All right.
The community service people,
Yeah. All the
when they
village.
brought them into your, said, hey,
They did all the right.
They brought all the leaves from the village to your house.
to your
on one
house.
one.
There you go.
Yes. Yes. Marie just mentioned that Jerry is looking for other community service projects. So please keep that in mind. Thank you, Marie.
How's your pool?
And I'm sorry, Mark, you know what I wanted to ask one other thing? Now that Marie's our village clerk, are you still in need, or
That's
is
good to bring
Marie
that up.
still doing she was helping
She
you out
is
with?
not doing that. So
Okay.
we have, that's something that we need to look.
Some filing for me,
She did?
last week or
He's so good.
before.
He's so good. Yeah, no, when we had budgeted, Marie to come in to work, to support in there, as things have changed, we need to revisit that,
Okay,
and
I
now
was
that
just
we've
curious.
gotten things solidified.
Because I don't want you to fall behind, your stuff to fall behind, Mark, because I know that you got a lot.
Bob.
What's that?
Ship sailed.
Half an hour. I think that ship sunk.
Just looking out for your best interest, Mark.
So we'll put that off, and we'll hopefully, and maybe in the January meeting we can come back with something with
There are
direction on
some
that.
people that are interested.
Yeah. So that's
I think
good.
it's something we should definitely do.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, looking for motion to approve community service report. Craig, thank you.
Second.
Second, Bobby. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Clerk, deputy clerk report. Do you guys want to read it?
Sure.
Take it away.
Okay, we've been busy this month in the office. We organized and moved the office around, so if you come up to the window, you'll see that we're all in a new spot. Kind of clean things up, bringing desks in line and files. We have worked on the water bills this month. They're printed, someone in the mail today. The rest will be out tomorrow. We were busy inputting all the invoices so that when the payments come in, we are ready to receive them.
That's great.
So, our outside unpaid water and sewer rents were sent to Rensselaer County for re-levy onto the 2019 January tax bill. And unpaid village taxes were sent to Rensselaer County for re-levy on the January 2019 tax bill. Also, as a side note, I'd like to thank Denise and Judy for the work that they did with the wreaths and the swags that they hung around the village. Neil and his crew for all the work that they did helping us get the office back in shape as well as the Christmas trees out there. We had about 18 new home changes.
Wow.
That may fluctuate with all of the organized chaos, but that's what we came up with.
So I don't know, what's a new home change?
So
Oh, it's
home.
just
How's it
home
sold?
sales? Okay.
Yep. Great. Any other questions? Looking for a motion to approve the clerk, deputy clerk
Motion.
report.
Second.
Brian and Ben, further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Highway departments.
Neil's here.
Neil's here. Hi, Neil. How are you?
Hey,
Neil had a
before
very
Neil starts,
uneventful month.
How was
Very
Neil's?
uneventful.
What was your time for the turkey trot? And if your hands thawed out yet? Wasn't bad.
He finished the same day.
Did you run the? What do you? How many? What K was it? 5K? No, it wasn't 5K. It was 10K, 15K.
My wife was trying to kill me.
Don't put that in the paper.
Make that the headline. Highway department's wife.
So well done. Do you want to take
Congrats
this?
on that.
Sure, I'll read it for you, Neil. All right, let's see. The biggest task of the month was the sprinkler line between 9 and 11 John Street. And that was an outstanding job by Neil, his crew, the water, the sewer, the county, the state, everybody, all the
Town,
parties.
some
in
town folks are too.
town, everybody
Yep.
involved. We really appreciate that. It was a long, long day, and it was not a warm day either, so. And then the next day it snowed, so it was perfect, right, Neil?
Fun fact: the asphalt is about 4 times thicker than you would anticipate.
Was it
Yeah.
18 inches or 16? What'd you say?
What?
The asphalt?
Probably
18 inches.
What's it supposed to be? Like 5, 6?
depends on which road you're
Not
on.
on the state.
It was pretty thick.
22 out in front of me.
22 inches?
Yeah.
Thick?
Yeah, there's 3 different grades of blacktop that went down.
Yeah. It was great to see the little cut of the saws that we had, and then all the rest they had to push through for hours and hours. Thank you.
And highway finished the leaf pickup, which got pushed back because of this little project on John Street. Finished mounting all the plows and sanders, multiple snowstorms, ordered, okay, how much, do we have enough salt, Neil, for,
Oh, we've got plenty.
okay. Annual transfer station cleaning, took down a dangerous tree on Richmond Avenue, pothole patrol. Christmas trees and holiday flags, which the village looks awesome, Neil. You guys did a great job, Kevin, as well. Was his favorite job of the month was office rearranging.
Woohoo!
Our most favorite job of all.
It was our favorite time too. Thank you.
New trailer has arrived, FEMA meeting, still working on the finalization pole barn style for the highway garage, CHIPS paperwork. So do we know when we'll get have you submitted it, Neil, or you just started it, the CHIPS money?
It's only in the beginning stage.
Okay. And new truck, the sewer department is in the near future, a week or two out. And we're in desperate need of a new truck, huh? Truck number one.
I do appreciate your commentary at the end here.
Merry and jolly Christmas.
No, I have no plans to nickel and dime that.
Oh.
I get the feeling by the odd caps that we need to replace that. Where are we with?
You gotta remember, my
What's
money
that?
for my truck went to the sewer department.
Yeah.
Right.
Where are we? Are we waiting for the budget year for that? Where's this?
No, it should've been this year. The sewer department actually should've been waiting for a truck, but, you know.
No, is this something, what can we do with this now?
Well,
This is not the truck that's on order that's coming soon.
No, hopefully
This
that
is-
truck will be here,
Yeah, this is another,
Right.
maybe
this
one
is,
for the sewer department.
and you said that, I mean,
You know,
what do you think it would cost us for a new truck? Or a new used truck?
Well, just the cabin chassis will look at 30,000.
Without
that
the
new?
plow and the sander?
yeah.
Then it's a matter of putting the bed on the back, and then I just gotta rip the plow off of one truck, put on the other truck, so.
Is that for a new truck?
Yeah, you're probably talking 38,000 altogether by the time I get done.
Hmm.
Mark said you'd take
Is that on the record?
So that's something we need to look into in
Yeah.
the
I tell,
very near
if you
future.
ask for it, it's gonna be.
Yeah, is that, I don't know where we get the money for it, but
Well, I know, we gotta find the money somewhere.
they're down the truck, but
I'll start
we
shaking trees.
can't plow roads.
No, I agree.
It's,
We're
that's,
just gonna work the old truck till it dies and let guys just,
well, with winter here and all the plowing and sanding you guys have to do, that's not
when
a,
I'm in California in February, I won't be worrying about it anyway.
send us a postcard.
Okay.
Like,
Oh, make sure you come back. Bring a truck with you.
And I hope that you have no snow or other mishaps on your Monday vacation as well.
see that?
I saw that.
If
Yeah,
not,
Merry
we're gonna have to
Christmas.
spend the day before learning how
I
to plow.
avoid reading that.
You know,
Alright.
I'm enjoying your new style of report here, Neil. I like
You
it.
know, it's not unusual, for us to have a water break, plowing snow, sewer issue on a holiday, so, you know, we're used to it, and I'm used to it.
That's why we keep hiring you back, Neil.
You know,
One of the many reasons.
I'll make the motion, we accept the highway department report.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, crew. I don't know if you guys keep noticing, but Neil keeps coming up and all the things going on. He's a busy guy. Handles it great. Alright, sewer departments.
I can read it again.
Alright.
I'm just gonna read. Did all monthly maintenance on the sewer equipment. Collected and transported monthly samples to Adirondack Labs for testing. All the regular duties at the plant and the pump stations. Monthly report for DEC. Daily sampling for pH, settling, temperature, and MLSS. I don't know what that is.
Poop.
suspended solids.
It's
Okay.
poop.
All paperwork for plant operations completed. Pumped and hauled 3,000 gallons of sludge to ACSD. Met with MRB and Mayor a few times about sewer projects. Assisted highway and John Street projects. Plowed snow. Lots of snow.
Mm-hmm.
Railroad project ongoing at Plain Crossing. Locating of sewer line for buildings scheduled for destruction. Inspection of a few new sewer laterals installed. And monthly billing for waste haulers. 225,450 gallons brought in for $11,272.50.
Mr. Berger.
That was kinda crappy.
I'm sorry.
Any questions for
I put
Vanessa?
the Jolly Rancher in right
Vanessa.
before.
The sewer report's crappy, and so I'm gonna go.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second.
Can we make a motion for Brian not to make jokes like that anymore?
Not
Or?
Jack who's there.
Kevin said he'll do the water. No water.
She's the one who's.
Alright, any further discussion?
No, but I'd like to respectfully vote on this.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries, thank
I
you.
do have a sewer related question
Mhm.
briefly. If someone had asked me if it would be possible to arrange a tour of the sewer department, actually for the company I work for.
People are lining up for
Um,
that.
Would that be acceptable? Is there anything I need to do?
No, it's good, no problem. Just reach out to Ken.
And if they wanted to possibly collect a couple of samples or have Ken collect a couple of samples for testing?
I don't know. I
don't-
guess I'd want to
we
know
can talk
why.
more about, because we're developing a probe for use in sewer treatment plants and they're looking to they've been gathering it from multiple municipalities in the area.
It's not every day someone asks for poop.
Oh,
No, wait a minute, I'm not the
I mean,
problem.
samples. Samples, sorry.
If they
So I
sign
don't need an
non-disclosure
answer on that
agreement
now, but-
paper, they can do that, they don't disclose.
I'll confer with some folks and get back to you. Yes, Rich?
That's cool.
If you do beta testing at the plant, you can do whatever you want. You're not supposed to, because you're not the state or any bureaucracy supposed to take samples away without jumping through a ton of hoops. So if your guys wanna come down and play,
No problem.
that is, I'm going from past experience, that is perfectly fine.
Taking
Just
samples off
Shoot me an email and we'll follow up.
I'll get the person who's in charge of doing it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Water report. Kevin, you want to tackle this one?
Sure, no report available due to the Rensselaer pump station problem.
Okay, well
Like to
done,
make that
Kevin.
motion.
How long were they up there?
They called me at 7 in the morning, so they'd already been there. And I was there, I left last night around 10:45 or 11, I think.
They went by my house at 6:30.
Yeah,
So-
they've been up there, but for
Oh, no.
everybody's like. in
I just
terms
wondered if
of-
it was a 29-day project.
It was a 29-day project, no question.
There's no report available, he wouldn't.
There's nothing extra this month there.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if they emailed it and couldn't find it, because I had to ask Neil if he had sent it in, and it took me like 5 minutes to find it. But I'll double check.
It's been standard
next
operating
time.
at the water plant in this month anyway, nothing extraordinary, except for the Rensselaer pump. Yeah.
All right. We don't have any minutes for this meeting because I have not had a free moment to go through all of the ones that I have. But I will get those for you next meeting, and we'll be approving roughly like 6,000 minutes, or like 4 or 5.
We were at the pump station all month too.
I was at the pump station all month. Yeah. Trustee committee reports. Vanessa, why don't you start us off?
I have nothing of it.
All right. Craig.
No.
Brad.
No update this month.
Lazy. Just kidding.
I was at the pump.
You're at the pump station. I get it.
Yeah.
Bobby.
I have nothing.
Ben. Kevin.
Neil,
blow
Oh. Just
this
kidding.
regards to the corners of Willard and Church and Willard and Main Street. We talked about it quite a few months ago about putting setbacks for parking on those two corners. Neil, can we investigate that and see how far those setbacks should be? We've had a couple accidents, I think, on Church and Willard, next to Stewart's, where the cars are parking back.
Yeah.
And in both cases, the visibility is very poor, looking down up Church or down Main Street.
Well, Kevin, on the note of that too, we should probably look at a few zones in the village. Church and Carey is another one. Pulling out of there where you can't necessarily see where we might,
Well, Church and Carey, there is a setback there.
but it, even maybe further
Yeah.
back or adjust where those are. Just in general, look at where they are.
I feel like they're tied to. They're legal things that define what they are, right?
Neil, on Church and Carey, you put that in because the sight of your vehicle's pulling out, didn't you?
That was put in, that's just a standard setback from the corner. It's actually just like, there are traffic setbacks, DOT setbacks and stuff for intersections, you know. I've tried to get that kind of information from the chief to find out, you know, maybe that could help clear up Willard and Church, and it might also help clear up Main and Willard. Main and Willard's getting bad now, especially on Saturday nights and Sundays.
Sunday when church, right?
Church is going on, you know. So, and
Well, yeah, I mean, there's really one residence that's causes the parking issue. On that corner of Willard and Main, if we put no parking here at the corner, farther down Main Street,
they've got a driveway to park in.
Right.
But there's some kind of feud going on
between the right of way, between the neighbor, right?
Yeah.
You know, which,
Because it's real, you gotta creep out there when you're pulling out on the main street.
Not for this meeting, but maybe this is a bigger discussion to have also about some streets perhaps being a one-way loop, like Church Street and Walton. Walton and make a
You can
loop
never
there.
make Church Street and Main.
Part of it, one way up and then Main still two. I'll write it out for you. I said for not for
No.
this meeting. So that way Church is going southbound to Cary. From Stewart's to
I did.
Cary Ave? That can be one way. We can pass
No.
a local law, and make
That's
it
not
happen.
for this meeting.
Not for this meeting, no.
It sounds like you have rousing support for that, Brian, so.
No.
Alright, so hopefully by springtime.
You started this, Kevin.
Come up with something.
Well, what's got to do happen is set down, there's numerous spots within a village besides those two sections. Sit down, make a list, do a proposed local law,
Mm-hmm.
do the public hearing, go through the process.
What are the ones that you mentioned so far?
Willard and Church and Willard and Maine.
And what else was mentioned tonight to
Cary
look
and
at?
Church.
Carry.
Church
And,
Cary,
and
there is-
Walton and Main.
See, like, the section from Willard to Cary Avenue, my personal opinion is there shouldn't be any parking on the whole west side of that street. Right from Stewart's up to.
Do we move the parking to the other side?
Exactly.
Cause I was gonna say make
Remove
it,
parking completely on the street.
that works better. That's why I was saying one way, you
Does-
put the parking on the
So
other side, it's one way on the
That's all
south.
stuff that can be discussed in this process of finding the difficult areas in the village.
And I feel like we gotta have a conversation with Mark then, because I feel like there's some multi-units that have parking requirements that would be affected, and we can't just take away
Actually, I
their
believe
parking.
they're
and-
off-road parking, aren't they, for code?
Off-road is required now, on-street parking is
Yeah.
required now, but some of those, like that first one right next to Stewart's, there is no parking, there's one parking space
Yeah.
on the street and one parking space next to the house. That's it.
How many units is that one?
That is three units.
yeah.
How do they have a 3-unit if they can't even make the parking requirements?
Then that.
Well, it goes way back.
Pre-existing.
A
Okay.
pre-existing landlord owned it.
Back to a
Which
time when
always-
we didn't pay attention to our zoning.
So then you get to talk
Yeah.
about putting the cars on the other side and it's one way south. And that, just that section from,
You
well,
can't.
why not?
Another
This,
meeting.
this isn't the time or place to discuss it.
Uh,
I'll tell you that.
You
All
move
right.
it to the other side and.
Alright, two things. I think one, I'm gonna send an email out to all of you guys and Neil as well, thinking about what areas we need to look at, and then I think maybe Neil, Mark, and I need to sit down and just start talking through this, maybe get Andy in on this and start thinking about what we can do, what we can and can't do in a sense. Alright, thank you, Kevin. Anything else? Alright, moving on to old business. In terms of the smart lot, we had tabled the signed letter of intent. I know you and Brian spoke about this, and it sounds like you want to wait one more meeting to do a little more research.
Brian's still doing some more research with National Grid, and he wants to hold off and wait until, if we can wait to the January 8th.
January 8th.
Still allows us enough time, because the deadline from Smart Lot, from National Grid, the buyout number was good from July 28th to January 28th, so. And it's a hurry up and wait decision anyway, as what the gentleman from Smart Lot said last time. That, once, they just need our okay to go forward, and then it's gonna take probably 6 months to a year to get the transition with National Grid anyway, to get everything to go forward as far as the transition of equipment. So I'd like to make a motion that we table this until the January meeting, rather
Okay.
than moving forward with it right now.
Cause if we move forward, it's the money no matter what, right?
Yep.
Pardon me?
Cause if we move forward, it's the money no matter what, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're really,
They said it was like 10,000 just even to look, right?
If we don't follow through, right?
right, it's 10,000, right, yeah.
Cause they'll do all this work and then.
Alright, so we have the motion. I need a second.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Questions on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Alright, table.
Thank you, Bobby.
Yep.
Thank you, and thank you, Brian, as well. Both of you guys looking into this, appreciate it. I spoke with Chief about the Center for Security. Chief and I and the Center for Security guys just need to get a time together to talk about what changes need to be done, so I would also like to have this tabled until next meeting.
Motion?
Thank you, Ben
Second.
and Brian. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Alright, new business.
Page 3 though. Oh, sorry, man.
Hey now, we're zipping along, man. Come on.
You had to say it all out.
Alright. In terms of the SAM grant and the excavator, this is one that came from former Assemblyman McLaughlin's office. It was a $100,000 SAM grant. We put out the bids. They were opened on December 10th at noon. And by they opened up the bids, I mean they actually opened up the only one bid. And it came out to $113,135.20, which means they won $100,000. We'll cover that, and we will use an additional $13,135.20 in CHIPS funding to supplement the rest. This is going to do a lot to help what we do here, and also look to what we'll be doing in terms of the Woodsbrook buyout in the future when we, assuming we're getting properties and we are doing the demo work on our own. One of the reasons why we went for this direction. So in that case, I'm looking. Oh, who was the winning bid from?
Capital Tractor.
Capital Tractor. Okay.
Is that the same one you had before?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm looking for a motion to accept the winning bid for Capital Tractor for the excavator for $113,135.20.
Motion.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Second.
Second, Ben. Any further discussion? Neil, all good? All right.
Merry Christmas, Neil.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Well, Santa only brought
Carries.
an excavator.
You get 4 new trucks for that. One excavator, 4 trucks.
It won't fit in your stocking.
I think what he's saying is you should use the excavator to plow. That's what he just said.
I can do that. You won't be happy.
Bring it on my road.
He's been working for 3 hours and he got one road done. All right, it's okay. All right, in terms of the CDBG grant for the Woodsbrook, here the MOU. I will read a little bit of it because there's a lot of whereas it just sort of sets up the fact that the CDBG grant exists. The town and the village are doing it together. Do you want me to read all of the therefore?
You can summarize it.
Do you want to summarize it?
Summarize the village will be the lead municipality. They will execute the grant agreement with the state, and also execute the engineering agreement with Barton and with Judas. That's really for purposes of administrative efficiency and the state dealing with one municipality.
Yeah.
But the memorandum of understanding acknowledges that this continues to be and will continue to be a joint public works project with the town. This portion of the project is in the town, and they've worked together on the grant. And that each party continues to have all of its interests, obligations, liabilities associated with the project.
And they've they're looked it over. Attorney gave it a sign off, so they passed. They approved this being signed last night. So I'm looking for a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the MOU with the town of Hoosick regarding the CDBG Woodsbrook Drainage Improvement Project.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you, Ben. Second, Kevin. Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. And with that, I'm looking for motion to authorize the mayor to execute the agreement for engineering services with Barton and LaJudas regarding the CDBG Woodsbrook Drainage Improvement Projects.
Motion.
Second.
Oh, I don't even know who to give that one to.
Ben may have it.
All
That's
right,
right, Brian.
Ben may
It's
have
Christmas
it.
time.
That's nice. Okay.
Thank you. You're so generous.
I know.
And again, this is we had the first agreement. We looked it over, requested some changes, made some changes. They came back and spoke with us about a meeting or two ago. I can't remember. And then we were just wanting to get the MOU done. So we're ready to go. They're eager to go because they want to start getting things moving as soon as possible. So any discussion, questions? We have the motion, right? Yeah, that's right. All in
Yep.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you. Here is this back. In terms of the Snow Street Water Main Replacement Project, we have a resolution here. And I will quickly read the therefore parts. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Village of Hoosick Falls in regular session duly convened as follows. The Village of Hoosick Falls hereby identifies CFI Contracting Incorporated as the lowest responsible bidder for the add alternate item identified as Rensselaer Street Water Booster Station Replacement Project, as contained in the public bidding specifications for the Snow Street Water Main Replacement Project, and hereby awards a contract to CFI Contracting Incorporated for the add alternate item of Rensselaer Street Water Booster station replacement at a total cost of $93,000, contingent upon confirmation by DASNY that the remaining funds under the same grant as described herein may be utilized for such ad alternate item. So I am looking for a motion.
Motion.
So Brian, seconded by Craig. This does require a roll call vote.
Trustee Pine,
Yes.
trustee O'Malley,
Yes.
trustee Patton,
Yes?
trustee Lewis,
Yes.
trustee Bushner,
Yes.
Mayor Allen,
Yes.
and deputy mayor Ryan.
Yes.
All right. So now we're just waiting on DASNY at this point, but we've gotten a whole bunch of information from them, so that's good. Okay, regarding unsafe structures, and this is something we've been pursuing for several months. We have three. What I'm looking for, and we're going to handle these individually, is motions to approve the winning bids for 6 Spring Street and 22 John Street. The bids were accepted and opened on Friday, December 7th at 2 p.m. 4 total bids were received. You guys have the bids in front of you, is that correct? Thank you. Mark, any thoughts you want to offer on this? Have you seen these?
I have not.
Oh, can you? Thank
Thanks.
you.
And Marie was kind enough to subtract out Waldron.
Yeah, so the circled value on the right would be if you combine the two from each quote for for the Spring Street and John Street location.
I don't think we were locked into it, but I think our thought process was the two added together. What ended up being 2 properties added together. Most likely the bid bidder.
Right, we can't, I was gonna say, looking at them, you can't, like, mix and match, because the one who's the total lowest, Dan's hauling, but he's higher on the Spring Street than,
But overall.
and lower on John.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, and it's just, in my way of thinking, it doesn't, I mean, you give it to one company, they're gonna be here with their equipment, they're gonna go from one job site to the other job site, and we're gonna get things done.
Okay.
And you've worked with Dan's with the
Dan's with the
American
American
House?
House.
Oh, okay, so you've got experience, so you got history with them, okay.
Did we ask for a total bid or a combined
We
bid?
were kinda looking for it both ways with all 3, I
Yeah.
think, knowing that this may happen this way, but I think, in my mind, it was just always gonna be, you know, the best price for either the 2 or the 3 or the 1, however it works.
Is that Dan's?
Are they aware that they were bidding on all 3 at once, or were they bidding on each one separately?
This one lists out a lump sum as well as individual prices. When it looks like the lump sum is about the same.
Right,
But that's
everybody
Dan's
realized
hauling,
that,
right, yeah.
there was
Yeah, well, they had Waldron still in,
that might be
so.
coming
Okay.
off the Waldron.
And one didn't even bid on that.
And you're right, he didn't even,
Yeah,
he didn't
because
even
he
bid
didn't
on
know
that
we had
wall.
called it. He had
The
called
other
it.
just said, you know, can we bid anyway, and just said, yeah, I mean, it's not
Yeah.
gonna hurt to bid anyway, but, cause we were pretty sure that the.
Yeah, the lump sum's exactly the same. So in this one, there was no discount for the lump sum.
Well, I know there's not a lot of math involved, but, you know, if you take the 2 that are lowest on each one, you're gonna save yourself $6,000, so.
Yeah, about
Clearly
take 'em
Dan's
separate.
is the best option here, I'd say.
$500, right?
Yeah, I got 5,400.
Yeah.
And then the way the bid spec was set up, it did ask for individual prices. Wasn't sure, the village wasn't sure whether some of these would be taken down by the property owners.
Right.
And a lump sum price.
Okay.
And again, long term, these bills, if the owners of the homes don't pay them, then it eventually goes to their taxes, and if these aren't covered, then the county eventually makes us whole. It's years down the road, but that's sort of the procedure for this.
And based on the fact that we've had, Mark's had experience, and good experience with the lowest bidder, combined bidder, I think that's, I agree with the way you're thinking, Mark. At least you got him in town, have him take care of, go from one to the other, rather than we got one guy and then waiting for the other guy to go to the other one, and we might have a problem.
I do think that was, you know, and just talking briefly to some of these guys, that was the thought process though too. That, you know, they were looking to do a kind of combined thing, we just couldn't do it with all 3.
Right.
I'm comfortable with that. All right, do you wanna
Yes,
So.
what's that?
there was a non-collusion statement.
Yes,
With
there
the
was.
bid.
Yep. So, do you wanna make a motion? We'll do it for each
Let's hold the
individual
meeting
property
now.
though.
Okay,
That's the way you
I
want it,
would-
right?
I would recommend doing it per property.
Per property.
Because there's still an outstanding question concerning 22 John Street. While Mark has not heard directly from the property owner, it's my understanding to date. I've still been told by that property owner's attorney that there is an intent to take it down. The time is dwindling for application for a building permit or a demolition permit to do that. But that's still a possibility.
okay.
So in light of that, when you do make an award for 22 John Street, it should be contingent on the village not receiving a demolition permit by the end of December
From the property owner?
Correct.
I did go by there today and still, there's been zero activity that I can tell at that property.
Did you get that? Contingent from what again?
On the village
No.
not receiving a demolition permit by December 31 from the property owner.
Okay.
Permit application.
Yes.
Does that mean, and that still gives us time to accept this bid, gives them time to, get the ad in, but in case it doesn't, we're still okay, we're not losing
Yeah,
time.
in all likelihood, given the time of year, even awarding this,
Right.
these buildings won't be coming down
Till spring, probably.
well, it could be over the winter, but it'll be a period of time before
There's some
the
other things
application
that go
goes
along
in.
with this, as far as hiring, because we have to do this as asbestos projects, there's air monitoring involved. And I have to look into a little bit with the DEC about Woodsbrook and what they're gonna require
Yeah.
for taking this down.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. All right. Everyone, I'm looking for a motion. Then we'll do Spring Street first.
Motion.
Well, actually, I have to. I don't. For a motion. Where you wanted Dan's Hauling?
Right.
All right. To
Dan's
motion
Hauling.
to award the bid for the demolition of 6 Spring Street to Dan's Hauling in the amount of $53,900.
Motion.
Thank you, Brian. Second, Bobby. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Abstentions? Okay. Thank you. Passes. And then I'm looking for a motion to accept the winning bid for the demolition of 22 John Street to Dan's Hauling contingent on the village not receiving the demo permit
Wait,
by
village
Dec-
receiving.
by the
The
village
demolition permit application.
Yes.
permit application by December 31st of this year. So I'm looking for that motion.
Motion.
Thank you,
Second.
Craig. Thank you, Bobby. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you for this. Okay, in terms of other, we have some discussion regarding
Wait, Waldron?
we should officially
Should
table.
we accept that
You
or
could
table?
table that.
Do you want to make that motion, Brian?
Motion to table the bid for demolition of 5 Waldron.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
What was the price on 22 John Street?
22,700.
Sign for you guys. There you go.
Well, it means it's only gonna be another hour or so, you can just hang in there, can't they?
10 minutes.
These guys have homework to do.
Zipping.
Yeah, plus they called you Mr. Bush.
Yeah, I know. They know who gets them their hookup.
And not guy with bad jokes.
Totally do my homework.
Like last year. Here, go Adam. You're selling them at school. Good night, guys.
All right. Discussion regarding opting out of the New York family medical requirements as a public employer. Andy, can you give us a summary on this?
So New York passed its
This is it, right?
family medical leave law last year, was effective January 1 of this year. The law exempts public employers. However, the law also says that if the public employer has previously elected to provide disability insurance coverage for its public employees, then that disability coverage must include the family medical leave benefit, unless the public employer, here the municipality, elects to opt out from providing the family medical leave coverage. The village has not to date elected to opt out of that coverage. This would be a proposal to opt out. The disability coverage would still stay in place, but it would not include the state's family medical leave requirement. And so that additional premium would not be taken from employees, and that benefit would not be provided. Many municipalities opted out December of last year, so that there were no premiums and no coverage in 2018. The village has provided coverage to date, but this would be a proposal to opt out from providing the medical leave coverage.
Have we had any employees use that in the last year?
Not that I can think of.
Have had any employees express a desire to keep that?
Not that I have heard.
What do you guys think? I mean, is this something that our employees need or want? Should we kind of?
Well, we had this discussion once before, right? There were a
feel like
couple
we
of
did.
employees at the meeting who were vocal that they were all for opting out.
Yes,
Extra
that's-
money in their paycheck.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
so,
feel like that's why I'm asking. I feel like we've had this.
so we
that was
we
the
did
one.
have that conversation.
Yeah, and Denise, I know, wanted this on the agenda because I think at the end of the year, I think it feels like it changes at the beginning of next
It
year.
will-
Yeah.
Well, there'll be a period of time, if a municipality did not opt out in December of last year and is currently providing the family medical leave coverage, you then have to send notice, written notice of your decision to opt out to the state workers' comp board. And then there's a period of 90 days before the coverage, before the benefits are
Taken away,
eliminated.
right, yeah.
So there will be coverage during the first quarter of 2019 regardless, even if you adopt the resolution tonight.
Because
And the resolution does also require the mayor to provide written notice to village
employees,
employees
okay.
that the village is electing not to continue to provide that benefit.
All right.
Does this save the village any money?
It'll save your employees money. The public employer, I mean, I do it as a private employer, but the public employer, then that becomes I don't know if this has been occurring, but becomes a deduction from the employees. It's a withholding. And by electing to opt out, it ends up with more money for the employee. They don't have the family medical leave benefit, but it's take-home pay for the employee.
But we're not kicking into that as a village?
I don't know the answer to that as we sit here. Okay, that's a question.
So I'm
for
assuming if we're,
Denise.
but if we are opting out, and we were paying, that it would
Yeah.
save us that money,
That is
correct?
correct.
Okay,
and the employee as well.
Right.
So
That's
they're gonna
correct.
get more money in their pocket.
yeah.
Yes, and this
So when you
came up-
frame it in your letter about the more money in the pocket, can you say in lieu of a turkey or ham for Christmas this year?
No.
No.
I'm giving you a small
No.
raise. I'm kidding. I'm just
All
kidding.
right.
Oh, Lord.
Let me read the now therefore be it resolved, but it's pretty
I'm
well
kidding,
summarized
I'm
by
kidding.
Andy. One, the Village of Hoosick Falls hereby elects to discontinue participation in the New York Paid Family Leave Program effective 90 days after notice is provided as required by law, or on such other date as the New York Workers' Compensation Board shall establish. No, I'm throwing it at Brian. That's all.
I don't like you. Look what you
Two, the village clerk is hereby directed to send a certified copy of this resolution to the New York Workers' Compensation Board and to the Village of Hoosick Falls Disability Insurance Carrier. Three, the mayor of the Village of Hoosick Falls is hereby directed to provide notice on or before December 14th, 2018, to each village employee of the village's decision to opt out of the New York Paid Family Leave Program. So I'm looking for a motion.
Motion.
Second?
Bobby and Vanessa, and this requires a roll call vote.
Okay, trustee Pine,
Yes.
trustee O'Malley.
Yes.
Trustee Patton,
Yes.
and trustee Bushner,
Yes.
Mayor Allen,
Yes.
and deputy mayor.
You missed
Ryan.
I
Yes.
was gonna say, I think I got it.
Oh, you did, I'm sorry,
Okay.
Vanessa.
Yes, sorry,
Okay.
yes.
And deputy mayor Ryan. Did he say yes? or
Yeah,
no?
I said yes, I'm sorry, yes.
I got confused, thank you.
This
So
one.
where you have that in Word, if you could fill that out and then generate a certified copy
Okay,
for Denise, and then Denise can send that into the Workers' Comp Board and to Hartford.
okay,
And Mayor, we should work on a letter tomorrow. for
Yes,
your
absolutely.
Employees and
Yes.
provide that to them.
Thank
And you
you.
can omit what I said.
I didn't.
Good.
I'm gonna hold on to this one for later.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and that's all we have to do for that. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Oh, there's a discussion regarding a request to waive a penalty for a resident's bill that was never received. The letter basically reads, "To whom may concern, the village officer recently came upon an unpaid bill from spring of 2018. In the 40-plus years I have been back in the village, this has never happened. After searching high and low, I never found it. Assuming I never received it, I went in to pay. I did not pay the penalty, but immediately paid the bill, and I am in hopes the penalty can be written off since I was not in error. Thank you for the consideration. Sincerely, R. Noreen Haynes." And the account number is here. I did get a copy of the bill from Judy, and the penalty is $23.18. I got basically the impression that we do this from time to time, especially on people who have regularly been paying, and of which case this is someone who's been regularly paying. So that was the recommendation from the board.
We haven't done it for this person, obviously.
No, because it's never come for this person because they're always regularly paying. Do we want to take a
I
look at
make a
some of the
motion,
stuff?
we waive the penalty.
Second.
I'll give it to Brian this time. All right. Any further discussion? No, he gave it to you last time. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Motion carries. Thank you. Here you go. Thank you. Others? Let's see here. Where are we? This one came from the county. This is a resolution stating that the Village of Hoosick Falls agrees to participate in the update of the Rensselaer County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan, and that Neil Stoll, DPW Superintendent, will be named as the village representative, with Mayor Robert Allen named as the alternates. I'll just briefly read the now therefore be it resolved, but I do want to talk to Neil and Andy, and you've been through this, and this is okay, fine. Now therefore be it resolved, on such and such day of such and such month, year, by the governing body of the Village of Hoosick Falls, that 1, the Village of Hoosick Falls agrees to participate in the update of the Rensselaer County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan. 2, the following 2 municipal representatives are hereby authorized to serve on the Rensselaer County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Planning, HMP, Core Planning Group, actively participate as requested throughout the process and lead a municipal jurisdictional assessment team tasked with carrying out local participation requirements. Representative will be Neil Stoll, DPW Superintendent, and alternate will be Robert Allen, Mayor. And 3, at the end of the project, when FEMA deems the updated plan approvable, the Village of Hoosick Falls will, as required, pass a resolution formally adopting the final updated Rensselaer County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan. This resolution will be provided immediately to the Rensselaer County Bureau of Public Safety for submittal to FEMA, who requires resolution on file. So I'm looking for someone to introduce the resolution.
Motion.
Kevin?
Second.
And second by Craig. Andy, fine?
Yep.
Neil?
Correct.
Anything you want to add? It's been done before. It'll happen again. You'll be involved in every single one. Okay, that's on the record. I heard that.
22 more months.
So I heard years. All I heard was years. All right. Any further discussion? I don't know if it requires a roll call vote, but I figure we'll do one anyway, just in case. So, could you roll call vote, please?
Okay, so I missed everybody last time, so I better not do it this time. Trustee Pine,
Yes.
Trustee O'Malley,
Yes.
Trustee Patton.
Yes.
Trustee Lewis,
Yes.
Trustee Bushnell.
Yes.
Mayor Allen.
Yes.
And Deputy Mayor Ryan.
Yes.
Alright, great, thank you. We'll need to get that down to the county, so when I come in next day or two, remind me, and we'll get that documentation down to them, because that was requested. Okay, I have 2 quick motions for requests, for the gazebo for weddings. I have a couple other quick things I want to add into the agenda that I did not get in time, but they're really quick, so don't panic there. First off, I'm looking for a motion, to approve the use of the gazebo for a wedding on Saturday, December 8th,
In the past.
of 2018. This is,
What-
it's,
yeah.
we were formally
It's a formal.
requesting it, but we've already sort of
We're all
talking?
gonna vote no.
Okay, we're all gonna vote no. The whole world just breaks in half at that point.
Sorry, you guys are married.
So I'm looking for the motion.
Motion.
All right, Ben and Craig. So this is a retroactive approval, but just to put it on the record. Further discussion?
Did they go through with it?
Did everyone say yes? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Are you?
Why the hell not?
Come on, just at least abstain. All right, fine.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I've already,
Oh, on the record. Oh, you just lost two friends.
I approve. I
Wait till
approve.
the election campaign.
All right. Motion carries despite shenanigans.
Bushner hates.
Looking for another motion to approve the use of the gazebo for wedding on Saturday, October 5th, 2019.
Motion.
Planning ahead.
Typically, that's what you're supposed to do.
Start making some village revenue.
Brian, you have the motion there.
Yeah.
Do we have a second
Is
yet?
that,
We need a second.
Second.
Thank
I'll
you,
second it,
Vanessa. Thank you.
You could dress up the party.
I have a question.
I have a couple myself because I'm checking to see what happened in October event-wise.
Isn't that Walter A. Wood weekend?
The first Saturday in October.
That would be
That
That'd
is
be that.
Saturday.
Is it?
Well, you might have a wedding in the midst of.
It is. It's October. Wait, what's the date?
Agricultural themed.
Yeah, it's the
Maybe they
it's
could
the
ride it
first
on
weekend.
tractors.
But the track. Yeah, it would be the first weekend. When was the tractor show this past year?
First weekend.
First Saturday in October.
JC
Right, 'cause the
Tractor's
cow
gonna be the
plop
limo
was on the
service.
Sunday.
It's like the Kentucky Derby.
Well, better
for
they're not
Saturday
getting
night.
married with the cow plop and it's the tractor show. That's a little more classy.
I mean, they certainly could do it in the gazebo, I wouldn't.
There might be some other
They might not
stuff
want to if they
going
knew that there was
on,
a
or-
tractor.
What-
show.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I would say we
I hear
wanna let them
hear
know
the sound
that.
of the hit and miss in the background.
Or what about the Walter Wood?
Why don't, can we table this and talk to them?
Or approve it and let them.
We
know
can
they
approve it, assuming they're okay with the fact that the tractor show is there, and if not, it's fine.
Right.
Doesn't hurt anything to
Right.
approve it, but we definitely need to let them know. that
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
tractor show is-
Agreed.
So, okay.
Now, Kevin, are you able to marry people on the side? Because that would be just like.
I don't know, maybe I can get my license by then.
Yeah.
By the
you
tractor
know?
show. All right.
We're making a new thing for the tractor show. Every year somebody gets hitched.
You get it? Hitched.
I was not making a pun, but it came out that way.
With all the
Sorry.
puns you've made tonight.
That
All right.
was
Any
not
further
deliberate.
discussion on this?
I'll make the motion.
We already have a
had
motion.
Brian
We have the
and
motion.
Vanessa.
All right.
But we will mention it to them that this is the tractor show. They may want to change a different weekend or location or
Was
whatever.
everybody else okay? Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you.
Well, we wish Mr. and
All right.
Mrs. John Deere the best of luck.
Two quick things to add with your permission. A few meetings back, we had gotten a letter from DEC asking for us to sign the property owner acquisition consent form. This is part of their investigation of checking out 30-some sites around the town to do some further testing. The address they gave us was like literally Waterworks Road. We're like, why are they checking out the plant? I requested that they send a map. They sent the map, and it's not the plant. If you go all the way down Waterworks Road and cross over the Greenway, it's that area down there.
Towards the
It's the
river.
cleared area by the river.
By the river down the, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring
Yeah.
this map up so I can show you real fast. I spoke with Attorney Engel and Gilchrist on it. We're fine with that. We do want to make sure that we're gonna request that we get samples and data from from that as soon as we can. But that's kind of how they've been doing things. This is the actual location. So you can see it's down the Greenway, past the old
Yeah, past the
water
works,
plant.
up over the Greenway,
You see
and
that?
then down the other side where all the trails be.
You
Yeah.
guys see that?
Yep.
So it's sort of past all that. So I'm looking for a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the property owner acknowledgement consent form from DEC regarding sampling at that's the southern end of the Woodsbrook.
No, southern end of the Greenway.
Southern end Greenway, sorry.
That's okay.
Wrong
Southern end
thing.
of the Greenway.
Southern end of the Greenway. So I need that motion first.
Motion.
Vanessa and
Second.
second Brian. Alright, further discussion?
Two quick things on that. Oh, sorry.
Can we attach that map to the response back to them so that we document where they
They
actually-
emailed the map to us when they sent us the letter again, but yeah, I can certainly do that. That's fine. Just to attach it. Yep.
Two things on
Certainly.
One, there's some, I put in my reply that there are some monitoring wells in the Greenway Trail, which have created a tripping hazard closer to St. Gobain. If they need to drill in the actual pathway, I'd prefer they talk to us about it.
Okay.
And that they're off to the side or not in the middle of the trail, or that we work with that. And also, it was, when we were looking at Greenway expansion southward, we realized the old waterworks plant, the former plant, is not actually in the village limits. The village line actually is the other side of the road, so our old waterworks plant that was demolished is actually outside the village.
You tore down our waterworks?
Oh, did you know that? What's that? The former waterworks.
Neil about tearing down our waterworks plant.
Did you get a permit from the town?
It fell down on its own.
So yeah, just as a, so that location, part of that actually might be out of the village, but it's on village-owned property.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's just the village line's like the other side of the street, of the other side of like where the flood or you know where the gates are, and there's the football field. That side of the street is where the village line is.
Does that
the
impact
park
this
and stuff down
response?
there, the pine trees and stuff like that?
The line goes at an angle,
Oh, okay.
so they are in, but like your community line's church is half your building is.
Yeah, it's really funny.
So the line's
It's half
actually
in and
illegal.
half out.
Does that impact the response to this?
Just, I'm putting it out there in case, is that an issue that it's village-owned property, but it doesn't matter if it's in the town, right?
It does not.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
village-owned property.
Yeah.
And
So-
Rob, you
Surprise.
should add also the request that the department provide the village with data results.
Yeah, so we're attach the map and request the data results. Yep, got all that. Any further? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries, thank you. And my final one is just to set everything, when we brought Marie on as village clerk, because of all the insanity of everything set, we didn't actually set the salary, so I want to officially do that, and after we had discussions, I'm looking for a motion to set the village clerk's salary for the fiscal year of 18-19 at $35,000, and at the 19-20 fiscal year salary at $36,532. Thus, setting the salaries for the remaining balance of the appointed term. So I'm looking for that motion. Craig?
Second.
Second, Ben. And again, filling Ann's term. She was it was a 2-year appointment. This would cover basically the finishing of this year, which is the first half, and set next year's as well. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are all set. At this point, unless you guys have any further business to bring to the board, I'm looking for a motion to enter executive session for the purpose of discussing pending litigation.
Motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion. Opposed? All right, carries. We are going to enter executive session 7:24. Thank you.